Lake Mead and Lake Mojave, some boating enthusiasts took their protest of the government shutdown to the Strip this weekend. A long line of boats rolled down Las Vegas Boulevard Sunday, right by gawking tourists. About 20 boaters turned out for the protest, calling for the reopening of the Lake Mead National Recreation Area. This afternoon, we asked Governor Sandoval if there was any talk of the state taking emergency measures to reopen federal areas using state workers.
I'll continue to meet with members of my cabinet to see if it's doable in terms of creating some kind of an agreement or understanding so that we could open those parks up.
The governor went on to say that cabinet-level discussions would be held when he returned to Carson City.
Yeah, Stuart Litchens is the owner of Boulder Boats, and he came up with that idea for the boat tow down the Strip. Tonight he joins us to talk more about why he did it, what he hoped to accomplish. But let's start, Stuart. Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, thank you.
You just heard what the governor said, and why not use either state or county resources at places like Red Rock or out at Lake Mead to get them back open?
They've been offered in other states for Grand Canyon, for Mount Rushmore, and they're denied by federal officials, and I just really think it's subjective and punitive, and I mean this has the most impact on the most amount of people, and unfortunately we don't have a strong lobbying body like a labor union would or something like that, and unfortunately our lobbyists are our congressmen, and they're the ones causing the problem right now.
This protest has gotten quite a bit of recognition, as you said earlier before we went on the air. Lawmakers, police officers, firefighters, lawmakers, they're all voters.
Yeah.
So what was the response been from your perspective?
This response has been phenomenal. It's been awesome. I mean, there's people that are opposed to it and think we're wasting our time, but I'm here talking to you now. I mean, it's about creating awareness. And, if everybody just sat back and said that's going to do nothing, then the end result will be nothing. So we're here to say that, we paid our fees, we paid our taxes, we funded the government. Now they agreed to pay the people as well. Put them to work. Let us have our parks back.
Yeah, when you talk about the paychecks, that it sounds like all the federal furloughed workers will get that back pay. But when it comes to a business like yours, you figure you're already out a couple $100,000 at this point. You don't get that money back.
No, we don't. And the impact is far greater reaching for private sector than it is for government employees. And that's really not spoken to that much. I mean, and what that translates to the public is, we generate a lot of sales tax at our store for the state. And, for us to be shut down and, for a couple weeks, it's going to be about $40,000 in sales tax revenue generated. That's the annual salary of an average teacher in the Valley. So
let's take it from personal to business. Let's just make it about business. Do you think that this is hurting tourism for Las Vegas, for Nevada? People come to town, want to go to these parks, want to go out on the boat. Do you think that has an impact?
I think there's still a lot of people that are unaware of exactly what is shut down, because it is kind of, the Hoover Dam has some limited, is open on some level. Lake Mead is shut down, Red Rock is shut down, Valley Fire is open. So it's really confusing to a lot of people. I think a lot of people are kind of diverting where they're going, but it's certainly hurting a lot of tour operators and businesses like mine.
But isn't that worse if people come to town expecting to go to these places and leave disappointed?
Oh, it really is. I mean, it's, it's disgusting. People come here and see that this is how we're operating, or if they're from out of the country. I mean, it's really embarrassing.
Well, let me just ask you lastly, you told me you haven't been a political guy in the past, but you really felt like you had to do something this time. What was that moment for you, and what were you hoping to accomplish?
For us organizing that protest, we're not expecting Congress to watch us tow our boats down the Strip and say, all right, let them have their lake back. But, it's just to create awareness, and if every group were to come together, everybody affected, and were to really speak up, you see it happening. You see monuments getting open because of outcry. You see the Amber Alert coming back. There is impact on events like this, and I think we have a viable cause here, and I think that Lake Mead there's no reason that it should be closed right now. All the businesses on Lake Mead are private sector right now, and a portion of the proceeds of bottom line goes to, actually top line, goes to the National Park Service.
Right.
So it should be a revenue generating proposition for them to keep the doors open, but unfortunately the government's pretty inefficient.
Let's say Congress was by chance watching. What would you want to say as a message to them tonight?
Stop playing politics at our expense. Let us have our parks back. We want to, be out there boating on Lake Mead. We want to go to the Grand Canyon. This has a major impact, not only on private sector business, but on just the general public.
Okay, Stuart Litchen, a lot of people were impressed by how you made the point. Thanks for coming in and
explaining
it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Stuart. Up next on